that was... Let's welcome Brian Holder, Libertarian candidate for Congress in our 4th District of Northwest Iowa. Welcome, Mr. Holder.
How are you doing this morning?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain. It is brisk.
It is.
We've got about 20 degrees here, and might be record cold. And you're in Northwest Iowa?
No, I'm in Council Bluffs, Iowa.
Council Bluffs.
Okay. The jewel of Southwest Iowa.
Yes, okay. Well, tell us about yourself and why you feel it's important to run for the office of 4th District.
Yes, I'm a lifelong resident of Pottawatomie County. I graduated high school from Council Bluffs, St. Albert, Iowa Western Community College, Bellevue University, and Creighton Law School. And I got involved in politics about 8 years ago when I ran for Congress the first time. And I just sort of discovered that a lot of our congressional representatives are out of touch with the concerns of the average American. So it falls upon us average Americans to grab a clipboard, like President Obama said, and go out there and run for office. So give people more choices and more voices.
And what is in your background leads you to this train of thought?
Yeah, I've always been interested in history primarily, but politics is it upstream or downstream from history? But we know they're intertwined. So, I just see a lot of the problems in our political process, and I've discovered a lot of things in the last 8 years. But the primary thing I discovered is that we've been underrepresented, arguably, for a century. Iowa used to have 11 congressional districts, and we're only down to 4 now. So our districts have 800,000 people in them, and in my opinion, that's way too much responsibility to put on one representative's shoulders.
Well, I see, and you have an independent streak, apparently, as a libertarian.
Yes, I've always been a libertarian philosophically. We have the right to self-ownership and personal autonomy, and the right to pursue happiness. So, the Libertarian Party in Iowa, we're the 3rd largest party, but this time around, it won't say Libertarian on the ballot. It'll say Liberty Caucus next to my name, but I am still a registered Libertarian. So.
Okay, Liberty Caucus. Thanks for that clarification and that distinction. So what would be your considered 3 priorities?
Well, the primary one is that, I don't anticipate our Congress ever dividing the districts into smaller ones, and I don't think our state legislatures are willing to do that. But myself, as a candidate, I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to sit down with Randy and Ryan and get a map out and figure out how the 3 of us can best represent everybody. I'm here in Council Bluffs, which is the largest metro area that touches the state of Iowa. Omaha, Nebraska is just across the river. Randy's up there near Sioux City area, and my friend Ryan Melton's over in Nevada and Ames. So there's 3 candidates and one in 3 of the 4 corners of the district. So, to represent people that live 2, 3, 4 hours away, I think arguably I wouldn't call that representative government. So.
And who was the Randy that you referred to?
Randy Feenstra, the current 4th Congressional District representative.
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, what is some of the more interesting aspects that you've learned while campaigning?
Well, I learn something new every time that I run for office. This is the 5th time running for the U.S. House, but I've also run for Iowa House twice in the last 8 years, and Iowa Western Board of Trustees twice. And so, I've run at the local, state, and federal level, and I've just really had a wonderful experience, expanded my knowledge of Iowa election laws, and I think there's some really important things that we need to get involved with as citizens to get some things changed with our system. So we used to have... Oh, go ahead.
Well, I'm just curious about what is it about yourself this last 8 years you mentioned your love of history. What occupies your time when you're not running for office?
Well, when I'm not running for office, I work as a photographer and a videographer and a citizen journalist. So I film upwards of 100 events every year, local high school events, sporting events, concerts, town halls. I like to go to town halls with my elected officials and record it. Oftentimes there's no one there in the room to record these important town meetings where people get to ask questions of their legislators in a public forum and get the answers we all deserve. So,
do you also have a blog, or
I do most of my campaigning is just done through my Facebook page. It's a personal page, and my YouTube channel. So, having the social media allows an average citizen like myself to run for office and to advocate for whatever issues that you want to focus on as a candidate. So,
sure. Well, Brian Jack Holder, Brian with a Y, Bryan, Mr. Holder. Well, how do you others describe you in your family or in your circle of friends? I've got some detractors in the public. They're mainly people that are Iowa Republicans. They sort of blame me for the last two losses of their candidate in the 3rd district. So I'm sort of considered a spoiler by some, but I've heard some of the Iowa Democrats like the fact, or they think that I helped Cindy get elected. So, I don't take any pride in causing someone to lose an election, but if we had 3 districts in the previous 3rd congressional district, David and Cindy would be serving in Congress together. So, and who are you referring to?
David Young and Cindy Axney.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure I had that clarified. And David would be
David Young. He was the U.S. representative from 2014 to 2019 in the U.S. House for the 3rd district, and
Senator Grassley's
former chief of staff. Yep, that's correct.
Former chief of staff, right? Well, you touched on a lot of important things there, but I'm compelled to ask you, what do you think are the 3 most important needs of voters in your district?
I'm glad you asked that question. That's something that a lot of media don't ask, and I have to admit, this district is huge. It's 36 counties with constituents in Northwest Iowa, Southwest Iowa, North Central, and Central. So the people need to be polled on all of these issues before our elected representatives vote on our behalf. So there needs to be some serious scholarly polling done to make sure that every community, their legislative priorities are recognized and attended to. And the districts being so large, it sometimes pits people from different regions of the state against one another in terms of funding public projects and other things. So,
well, how would you involve and engage residents in the decision-making processes
right.
in our community?
Well, I've thought a lot about this over the last 8 years, and I think every county should have some kind of U.S. representative that represents the people of each county. The U.S. Senate, the small states and the big states each get 2 U.S. senators. Why couldn't every county in Iowa have a county representative that stays here in Iowa to help represent the people and works as a liaison or a coordinator with our U.S. representative? But right now our U.S. representatives have $1 million office budget and 20 paid staffers that are put in those positions of authority without any input from the public. It's mainly the spoils system from the early and mid 1800s. So, I'd like to see these local office representatives have to run in an election to gain that position.
I see. If you were in charge of a $1 million grant to use in your district in any way you wanted, what would you do with it and why?
Well, we sort of have that right now with each congressperson having that $1 million budget, and actually it's over $1 million now that each congressman has to represent us. So, oftentimes they only set up 2 or 3 offices in 2 or 3 different counties in the state of Iowa. This county or this district has 36 counties. I would work to make sure that every county had an office in it for our U.S. representative to work with the people, to work on things that the constituent services that so many of us, not myself, but so many of us depend upon. Help with passports, help with Social Security, different government agencies trying to navigate the forest.
Well, in those 36 counties, can you list a few of your favorite places?
Well, I haven't done much traveling in this new district, throughout my life. Being a photographer, I usually had weddings to photograph or film on the weekends and other sporting events. But, I love going to Des Moines. There's so much history there, and I've made so many wonderful friends in politics over the last 8 years that live up in that area. So.
Well, and we've got closing minutes here. Let's go through some of your important personal core values. And you've touched on a number, but let's summarize if you could.
Well, the most important thing I think is someone running for office and putting themselves out there as a public figure is to be completely open and honest and transparent with the electorate. Explain to them, like I've done here, the size of the representation and how best I could help represent you. So, I don't believe in unilateral decision making by elected representatives. I think the people should be involved. But, loyalty is a big thing to me. Being a person of your word, having integrity. And as a libertarian, I hold freedom and liberty up there as core values. So.
Well, Brian Holder, this has been quite enlightening, and appreciate you being on Local Talk so much. Is there any closing words?
No, I just want everybody to stay safe and make sure that they get to the polls and vote and educate themselves on the issues and the candidates. And then finally, I just like to ask people if they believe in a creator to pray for peace in this world, because we haven't seen this nuclear brinksmanship in decades, and we want it to be resolved peacefully. So.
Oh, that words to live by. Thank you, Brian Holder.
Thank you.
Libertarian candidate for Congress in our 4th District of Northwest Iowa. Thank you so much, Brian Holder.
Thank you, Pat.
And it's 7:30, 30 minutes after the hour, and you're listening to KHOI Community Radio on 89.1 FM. And I'm Pat Schlarbaum. On Tuesday, Local Talk, host Mike Metz is away today. Yet Mike Murphy is here at our controls. Let's welcome Susan Guiazda, Public Information Officer for the City of Ames. Hi, Susan.
Hey, Pat. How's it going?
Well, kind of chilly this morning, kind of brisk.
It is kind of brisk. It's sort of the perfect fall day, isn't it? Really giving us a